Hi, I'm Sylvia from Noni New Creations, and today we've got a new video crew. My granddaughter and grandson, Sophie and Daniel, are going to be videoing this for you, and we're going to be doing the cat. Okay, the first thing to do is we get all our things together, and you use medium weight stabilizer and a 5x7 hoop for this particular one. And we'll need some water soluble because we are using minky material. If you're using cotton, you don't need that. And I've got the fabric pieces ready for the arms and legs and the tail. And then the nose, it just takes a little bit. And the back. And then for the body, we need also a bit for the applique. Now it's very important you do this in the correct order because otherwise you're going to get into a muddle. So first the arms and legs, then the nose, then the back, and then the body. Okay, let's get started. I've put the stabilizer in the hoop and now we're going to stitch the outline where we're going to place the fabric. The machine stitched the outline and now we are going to place the fabric and secure that. It's stitch the fabric to the stabilizer, and now I'm going to use some water soluble because minky fabric needs that when you do any stitching on it. If you're just using cotton, you don't need to do this. I've changed the color. We're going to have grey poles, and this color 3 is going to stitch out the poles and the ear. It's just finishing the paws and now it's going to do the inside of the ear. It's finished doing the embroidery on different parts, and what we're going to do now is remove the water soluble. I've removed the water soluble and now we're going to put the top on, and I usually pin all this on. Alright, I've pinned the second bit of fabric on top and make sure the right sides are facing inside there. I'm going to be using a different color to that so you can see what it's doing, but at home you will use the same color thread as your fabric. It's now going to stitch out the outlines of the arms and legs, tail, and ears. I've cut the ear out, and you get the hemostats and push it in and pull it out. And because this is minky fabric, what I do is I sort of rub it with my nail and get all the fur to sit upright so it's not stuck in there, to make it nice and fluffy. Okay, that's one ear. Sophie's cut out the tail, and she's now going to show you how with a pair of hemostats you can easily turn the tail inside out. You go right to the end, pinch a bit of fabric in between, and then lock it, and then gently push it out. That's it. You're doing good. And here's the tail. Unlock it. That's it. Now you push the thing back in and you push it out. Very good, Sophie. See, if she can do it, you can do it too. Right, Sophie's cut out one of the legs, and she's going to show you how to snip. Right, a bit closer, right to the stitching. That's it. And again. That's it. Try that one again because that's not quite done. No, that's it. And now you're going to turn it inside out with the hemostats. That's it. Push the fabric in, lock it, and then pull it gently from the top. That's it. Okay, unlock it. Now push it up. That's it, like that.
Okay.
And then you gently push it out. Push the... That's it. You get the little paws out. That's it. You're doing a really good job. Excellent. Okay, now show them what it looks like. And what you can do is really, like I did on the ears, really get the fur going right so it isn't stuck in the stitching. Okay, so we finished doing the limbs and the tail and the ears and turn them inside out and all that. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill up the arms and the legs, and we fill it up to about here, because you've got to leave that space empty for when you attach it to the body. You don't need to stuff the ears. You can if you want, but I don't. And just stuff the tail lightly. So next we're going to do the little bit for the nose and the mouth, and that's going to be done on a separate bit. So the first stitch out is going to be the outline, where we're going to put our fabric. So I'm going to put the fabric, make sure the pile is the right way around, and I'm just going to hold it, and it's going to attach this. It's going to do the outline again and then show the center position. So it's done the placement line for later on, and I'm just going to put some water soluble over it. It's just stitched out the tongue. Next it's going to stitch out its mouth, or the outline of it. It's done done the outline for the mouth, and now we're going to do the nose. Finish stitching out the nose, and it's just going to do a little highlight on the nose now. So it's stitched it all out nicely, and I'm going to mark this, and that will make it easier for you to see how to place it when we do the body. It doesn't matter what pin you use for this actually, because we're only gonna use this bit of the material. So make sure you've got it marked properly. Next we're going to do the back, which is really easy to do, and it's going to do a placement line where we're going to place the fabric in a minute. Done the placement line, and we're going to place our fabric right next to it. And you can secure it with some tape if you want, or I always use pins. Next it's going to sew a line down the middle which shows you where the center is, but it also attaches the fabric to the stabilizer. This is going to be the placement line for the tail. It's going to go like that, so we turn it over and place it right near there, and you just hold it. Going to place the other bit of fabric on top now. And again, I usually pin it. Make sure the pins are nowhere near the stitching line. Now it's going to stitch the outline, and this is to give your cap a 3D effect. Going to be the body. I've placed the fabric, and it's just going to attach the fabric to the stabilizer now. done the outline and secured the fabric to the stabilizer, I put some water soluble on because I'm using minky material and I'm gonna be embroidering the eyes, so it'll give a better result. Okay, that's the eyes, and now it's going to do the black, which is the pupils and his whiskers and that. It from the hoop, and now you just cut around. Don't have to worry too much about it, but make sure you snip it in that little corner there. And this will give you the 3D effect, and we're going to use that later. Okay, it's finished doing all the black now, and we're going to do the highlights in the eye. Yeah. It's done the white of the eye, and now it's going to do the outline or positioning where we're going to put the place for the muzzle. Alright, it's done the placement line, and now we got to match up the lines on this with the line on the body. And then we're going to stitch out the first bit, and it's going to do it little by little because you're going to put a little bit of stuffing in there. So I'm just going to stitch out the first bit. So that's the first little bit, and I usually see if it looks about right, and let's do the next bit and see if it's all right. Because if it isn't, you're going to take it off. It looks quite good. I'm going to put a little bit of stuffing in here. To make it a little bit bulky. It's a bit tricky, this bit. You have to sort of push it in well and make sure it's not in the stitching line, otherwise your needle will break. So it's just a tiny bit, and we're going to fill it up bit by bit. Okay, we're going to sew another little bit now. And it's come right on the line there, so I think we're doing good. I think I'm just going to do the next little bit. putting a little bit more stuffing in here so you get his nose nice and bulky. Now do the next couple of stitches. Okay, I'm just going to check one more time if it needs any more stuffing. It's really important that you don't get the stuffing near the stitching line because your machine won't like it. So really shove it in there. So he's going to have a lovely little nose now. Back to the machine. Next stitch, it's going to just stitch all around it to secure it, and then we're going to cut it. She has stitched all the way around, and now we're going to cut this really close to the stitch line. This is just like if you're doing applique. I've cut neatly all around the muzzle here, and now we're gonna do a satin stitch around it. It's done the satin stitch all around the muzzle now, and the next stitching is going to be the placement line for the applique. It's done the placement line all around here, so we're just going to put the fabric around here on it. Place it. Okay. And now we're going to stitch it to secure it to the rest of the body. Now we're going to cut right along this stitch line, nice and closely, just as you do for an applique. I've cut neatly around the applique, and now I'm going to put some water soluble on it, and we're going to stitch out the decorative line. Sewing the decorative stitch, and if you want to personalize it, now is the time to do it. And you know, you can put anything you like on the heart, so and if not, then you can just go on to the next step. We're now gonna attach the ears and the arms and the legs, and I'm using green, but if I were you, I would use the same color as your fabric is, okay? I'm just using green so you can see what I'm doing. So off we go. This is going to be the first placement line for the ear. I've placed the ear on the placement line, and now we're going to attach it. Now we're going to do the same for the other ear. We do the placement line and then place the ear and then tack it down. Next, we're going to attach the arm, and again the placement line. We've done the placement line, and now we're going to attach the arm, and we want the arm to have the paw prints like that, so we just flip it over and place it right near the needle, and off you go. We're now going to attach one of the legs, so again, placement line. And now we're going to do the same with the other leg. Next is the placement line for the other arm. Place the arm in position and stitch out. Right, we've attached all the bits and pieces, and what we're going to do now is put the back on. So it looks nicely tucked in. I've got the back here. So we're going to place that and pin it down, and you're going to be able to leave the tail sticking out. So I'll just pin it down and then I'll show you. Pin it down, and the machine's going to stitch from here all the way around up to about here, right? So we'll be able to leave the tail out so it's less bulky. And what I'm going to do is take this to the machine and then find out where it actually starts so I can adjust the tail accordingly. So I've got my machine ready, the needle ready for the starting position here, and I've moved the tail out of the way. So now we're going to start sewing around. At home you would use green or orange, you'd use the same color as fabric. machine for a minute, and I'm going to move the tail back down here so it doesn't get caught up, and then we're going to continue stitching. Okay, it's all stitched around now, and there's one more color to do, but we're going to forget about that because that is to prevent your machine going back to the middle. So we are finished now. And before you take the design out of the hoop, make sure you haven't cut anything. Look around the arms and the legs. I mean, I think mine is pretty good, because these weren't too big, the arms and the legs. So I'm going to cut it out now. I've trimmed all the way around it, and I've clipped in the little corners here, and I've also left a bit more material out near the opening. There's a stitch line here which you can use when you're sewing it closed. So we're just going to watch the birth of the cat, I hope. Here he is. Lovely ginger tomcat. Now all we have to do is stuff him and he'll be all ready. Nice little tail. So I'll be back in a minute and he'll be all done. And here he is, all finished. And I think he looks rather wonderful, don't you? And here's his brother to keep him company. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it will help you in making Tim Tom the cat. Thank you very much, and until next time. Bye-bye.